If you've watched any videos on the topic of GPT-4o Mini, they're probably giving you the wrong idea. Out of curiosity, I watched a couple videos on the topic of GPT-4o Mini just to kind of see what other people are saying and the ideas on YouTube. And holy smokes, no one really gets it. To be fair, I only watched a couple, but the ones I did watch, I was like, oh wait, they have no development background. They don't actually use the models within their business, and they don't actually know the implications of what these models can do. Therefore, in this video, I'm not going to give you some bland article and just list some stuff. I'm actually going to give you a real world impact, a real world use case that affects my AI software business directly of why this is important. Not that it's just, hey, there's a new model by OpenAI. So you're telling me, Corbin, all I have to do is watch this video and I'll actually get a real perspective on someone that actually uses these endpoints in application development and actually understand what this means for software development? Yes, let's jump in. I didn't mean for this video to start off so intense, but you know that old saying, curiosity killed the cat? Oh man, this cat got killed. I was looking at other videos on the topic of GPT-4o Mini, and I was like, oh, they're missing the entire point. And then I realized, oh, they don't even use it. And then I realized, oh, people actually want to know what is the use case, why this is so important. Therefore, let me tell you why. And the huge impact this has for software development that we really haven't seen in the past for anything. Before I dive into a little bit of a history lesson, here's some context. My name is Corbin Brown. I'm developing an AI software using OpenAI as my AI provider. It's bumpups.com. You can check it out. It's made for content creators. End goal is that it's going to be as needed as a good mic is for any content creator. Got that out of the way, but let me tell you why this endpoint's actually a huge deal. I've been developing software since I was 11 or 12, but that was in the context of iOS app development. When developing apps for iOS app development, it was fun. It was cool. The idea was, you build your app for the iPhone, which was a piece of hardware, and people on the store got access to it through the App Store. You know this. You understand this. And Apple, in that context, takes a 30% cut of all the money you make through the fact that you're using their hardware and getting the exposure through their App Store. Therefore, when updates would incur for iOS developers, it was typically in the context of, hey, you got a new framework or you got a new capability. A very specific context of this was in 2017, I believe, you got the ability to start doing augmented reality within your apps. Therefore, an update in this context is very much like, hey, you have a new capability and new functionality that you can do within the actual hardware of the iPhone. In that context, it would be the AR and the camera. Therefore, this kind of update when it came to software was very much so new feature. Not the best way to write it. Okay, that's cool, but what is your point in bringing that up? And what does that mean when it comes to AI providers in this new endpoint GPT-4o Mini and why this is such a big deal? And honestly, this is such a bubble right now, but not in the sense of like stock market going to explode and everything's going to go kaput. More in the sense of we're in such a bubble right now that this news is such a big deal that people don't actually understand what this news actually means. It's actually insane. So like past this, when it came to software development, obviously we would use other things such as our backend and our front end if you're using a web application. So for example, our backend could be GCP, Google Cloud, and our front end could be Firebase. When we get updates for this kind of software and as a cloud provider, this could be in the context of giving us more features. So for example, a new feature that they provided recently is the ability to talk to Gemini to kind of help you out within your development process. Gemini, the chatbot from Google. Notice the trend when it comes to providers and what they provide for the end consumer or the end developer. New features, new capabilities, new ways of approaching that software. What this is doing is entirely different. So obviously you have the new features, image analysis, video analysis, voice capabilities, stuff of that nature. But the bigger thing here, and the thing that everyone is sleeping on, is when OpenAI releases a new model and the model is better and it's cheaper. This means that if you build your software on top of this model, everything you produce becomes better. So instead of this just being new feature, this is also improved software. Let me know in the comments. Has that kind of situation occurred in the past? And this is why this is so crazy. As an AI provider, we've been using OpenAI, but specifically the endpoint of GPT 3.5 Turbo for the context of the value we provide our end consumer. At the time of providing GPT 3.5 Turbo, we were looking at a cost of around 50 cents per million tokens. Therefore, when we would provide our value as of now, this value would be oriented and structured based off a 3.5 model from OpenAI. When I say value, by the way, I'm talking about timestamps for your video, titles for your video, descriptions for your video, hashtags for your videos, etc. With the release of GPT-4 Mini, though, we are getting access to a more advanced model that's going to lead to better outputs at a cheaper cost. And here is the best part, and the part that makes this even crazier. For us to simply switch our model when it comes to our workflows from 3.5 to GPT-4o mini, it simply takes us just replacing the model name within our code. Once we put the new model in our code of GPT-4o mini, our value increases, our cost decreases, and the overall consumer is getting a better product. That's why when this came out, it's a huge deal. It's an extremely huge deal. Now we're able to do very intuitive softwares with very high functioning AI models. Furthermore, you're telling me it only costs 15 cents for a million tokens? And you're telling me that long term we're seeing a trend where this could possibly only cost me 10 cents per million tokens, 5 cents per million tokens? And you're telling me that when they release these new models and all I have to do is simply switch the model's name, the end consumer that's within my software gets a better value point? All I'm hearing is win, win, and win. Based off my development experience in the past 10 to 12 years, it was always new feature, new feature, new feature. But now it's new feature and improving your underlying software with just a simple model switch. To put it blunt and simply, if you want to enter the space of software and you're not developing a software that uses artificial intelligence, you're missing a huge opportunity here. Because one thing has become very apparent. Once you have the infrastructure built out and the workflow built out, adding more and more advanced models at cheaper and cheaper rates is going to be a trend. And therefore, your end consumer is going to get happier and happier and happier. And the overarching argument here is that to give the end consumer a higher quality output with us only doing 5 minutes worth of work within our code, that's crazy. Like, that's actually crazy. So let's go, OpenAI. This will definitely lead to probably other AI providers following the footsteps of OpenAI, providing higher quality models at cheaper rates, really causing capitalism to do its work here, get some better AI, and I'll see you in the next video. These 2 videos are based off clicks, YouTube's algorithm, and everything above the board. This is my face, and I'll see you in the next video.